Hey, howdy, hi, hello, hola, привет, bonjour, guten Tag. What is up, Vikings? How goes it? Hello. I'm gonna be covering some stuff today. As far as a recent video and some stuff that has been figured out in the community by Synthesizer. Oh, as well as some other stuff. I'm still kind of working on a giveaway for the holidays, so I don't have any news as far as that yet. But anyways, all of that being said, I will kind of like get to this with the Synthesizer video. So a few days ago, Synthesizer posted a video that looks like this. 1 second. Bam. Looks like this. Well, I mean, that's partway through. Now, the title is Why You Don't Get the Soul Shards. In this video, Synthesizer's clan broke down a test on onslaughts about soul shards. They tried a couple of different things, and got some varying results. I'm gonna kind of like summarize this up. I will actually drop the link here. That is a link to the video by Synthesizer. I said I'm gonna like sum this up halfway through. So it's a 20-minute video. Roughly 10 minutes of the video is in Russian, and the last 10 minutes of it are in English. There's actually a break here. He did a nice little awesome chapter there. So anyways, now this test that Synthesizer did shows a breakdown of shards as far as how they split down by the individuals in the onslaught. Let me see. Okay, so first all, it's the same target, the exact same target. He shows on these screenshots here. I can try to make this slightly bigger. Let me see. Don't need that. Or that. Or that. Привет, hello. Or this. So, it's all the same target. It's all the same gear. It's all the same participants. And every single one of them is using the exact same march size. So I mean that's pretty comprehensive. Now, hello. Now, the biggest thing about testing onslaughts is, of course, in storms, there is a lot of variation. Everything from town skins to achievements to other stuff. I mean, hero skin, the troop type you're hitting, all of that will factor in to an onslaught. Not only if it's successful, but also like, I mean, how the hit goes in general, not just merely success or bounce, but the success as far as points, shards, etc., 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 goes down the line all the way down to like even the smallest minute percentage on a rune. So I mean, it's really kind of hard to test. Henceforth, why I will more than likely not be replicating this test anytime soon. But we can use his data to kind of like see what happens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successful onslaughts, or well, 5 onslaughts, I should say, on a town. He broke it down by like who joined where and by power level. This first chart is, I need this. Yeah. Wrong screen. There we go. So there's T7, there's T8. The categories over from left to right. I had to think of like how it's mirrored you. The categories over from left to right are offense, defense, health, in that order. This is split by power. This first, where in the heck? There it is. All right, this is split by power. So you can see 1 to 10, they're ranked by their power. So who has the strongest offense, defense, health, and then it scales down from there. And then the names of the participants here in his next screen. There's the T7, T8 comparisons as far as shards earned, troops killed, etc., etc. Now, the thing to note in this is that there are 4 individuals that did not get shards. This last one, the last one is shards earned. There's 4 individuals in the onslaught that did not get shards. And lost 75% of their troops. So he explains kind of like more about this as far as, let me pull up the video summary. It'd just be easier that way. Boop. 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 There we go. All right, so I need to like 1 second. Give me a minute. There we go. Ooh, waiting for the screen to load. The 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 individuals that didn't get shards. So he shows exactly why it's split by power, and yet like here you can see, for instance, like 12 mil shards earned, 2.8, 2.9, 7.7, 8.5, 9.7, 4.5, 4.7, 2.0, 3.2. And that's with them all using the exact same troop type. Hello! Now, the big thing about like using the same troop type is obviously the using the same troop type counters the troop type of the town. Like we all know, you want to be successful in town OSs or storms, you do one of 2 things. If it is a rainbow town, what we call a rainbow town, in other words, it has every troop type all the way up, all the way down, you use your strongest troop because you're going to counter something. So you send your best. When it comes to specific troop types, for instance, you send the anti-troop. So obviously hitting a siege town with a storm, you would send killer. Hitting a melee town or an infantry town, you would send siege, etc., etc., etc. down the line. So basically, using this premise, they used all the same troop type, but yes, this is just in an OS on a town. So using the same troop type, on the successful OS, you get to see like who died and who didn't. Hello. Hey, it's just common gameplay. Hello. So, on the successful OS, you can see like exactly whose troops died and who didn't. Now, the players that lost more troops and got less shards, you would think is merely because of less stats. But you would be wrong. So the second, like when it comes to power, which is the second category in next to the names, the power split, if you watch, like if you split basically this chart here. So you have Synthesizer at number 1 and Michelle or WT at number 2. Those two right there, like here for instance, Synthesizer, 0 losses, WT, 160 million lost. So like, I mean, that's first and second ranked in power in the OS. So if you take like the power requirements like just alone, there is a huge significant differences in losses and deaths between the first strongest and the second strongest. Now, like breaking it down by shards, and by how they join the OS, like what order they joined in, you can see like obviously the first to join you would think get less shards, and the first to join would get more shards and have more losses. The last to join, you would think if it went in that order, the last to join would get more shards and have less losses. That also proved to be false. Now, the other thing here is you can see he added the game ID. The order in which the accounts were created. Now, like, why is that important? So basically, as we know, 1 second. All right. Basically, as we know, no, I don't know. I don't believe that they factored Townskin stats into this. I mean, like, most of his clan is extremely strong. I mean, it's SPQRF. They're an extremely strong competitive clan. So, like, the thing of, like, most of them, I believe, are all going to be on par with each other. Yes. I know Pez also recently did a video on this. I saw it pop up earlier. So, there's an assortment of things that can go into this that can make the results slightly skewed. However, like, looking at some of this, if you look at the game IDs, when the game IDs were added to this, you can see, like, so the oldest, 1 second, there we go. Okay. All right. So the oldest ID is WTs. That's at the top now. So now it's sorted by ID. The newest is all the way down here. So oldest to newest. If you look at these numbers, I need that. There we go. If you look at these numbers in here, like here's the IDs. Newest, oldest. The shards, the amount of shards earned varies greatly as far as what you see by ID. These are the shards right here in these two columns. The T7 and T8, 200 mil, 200 mil. The oldest ID in the Onslaught quite literally got the least shards. Second to join the OS. Second to join, and yet literally got the least shards out of all the participants in the Onslaught. Now, like, there could be a bunch of mitigating factors to this. Like, there could be, like I said, a bunch of mitigating factors to this. It could be everywhere from, like, I think that's WT, I believe. Synthesizer says Michelle. I don't know if that's, like a Misha Russian. Like, I don't know how the translator on YouTube did the transcript. So, my apologies if I messed the names all up. My condolences. So, like, the ID coincides quite literally with the person that got the least shards. The older the ID, the fewer shards they got. The newer the ID, the more shards they got. The oldest account got the least shards. The oldest got the least. The newer accounts got fairly comparative to more shards than the older IDs did. So here's again, your shard counts are here in the middle. T7, 200 mil, T8, 200 mil. Here's your IDs over here in this column. And this is like just a brief summary. I'm going to try to get a copy of these charts and do a more comprehensive breakdown of this. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to do like a comprehensive breakdown off of here because like I have to show you guys the chart at the same time as refer back to the transcript. So I'm going to reach out to Synthesizer at some point and try to get a more comprehensive breakdown of what all was factored into it. He did, yes, exactly, Vanya. He used Inga at one point and still got more shards than the people with the older IDs. So, I mean, like, now, this only affects an Onslaught if you all use the same troop type. Of course, I mean, granted, like in our clan, we always use the same troop type. That's just kind of like standard Onslaught procedure. So, there's something that changed between these IDs right in here, the 8276551, and once you get into the 12s, the 12s, the 1-2 IDs got slightly more shards than the 8s, like the old 7 numbers. Once you get to the 8 numbers, they got slightly more. And then as the IDs progressed up, what's up? As the IDs progressed up from oldest to newest, if you look, quite literally, the shards steadily climbed as the ID got newer. Now, like I said, there is an assortment of things that can factor into this. Everything from like Asir levels to Townskin levels to Valkyrie knowledge to, I mean, the smallest, littlest, minute detail can make a huge difference. However, when Synticitor can switch to Inga for a shaman and still get more shards than an older ID'd account who is using a troop shaman, that shows there's a significant difference in the mechanics on an old ID versus a newer ID. Like, I'm not justifying it. I'm merely stating there is a significant difference in the hang on a sec. That shows there is a significant difference in, like, something that was patched between updates. So, now, like, I don't know exactly, like, how, replicatable this test will be. I imagine, that this test would be fairly easy to replicate. I mean, granted, like I said, our clan uses the same like troop type for every OS. I mean, it's just kind of standard in our clan. I mean, like, we call an onslaught for killer, we all send killer. Call an onslaught for siege, we all send siege. So, like, and there's a lot of big clans that do that. So, this only affects onslaughts where you quite literally all send the same troop type. There is a huge difference. There's a huge difference about, like, where the IDs, like, also joined and how they died in the correlation of shards earned. Oh, okay, so, like, basically it would be the older IDs. Hello! Hello, Pachelka! So, the older IDs, the older accounts, essentially, would be pushed to the front of the onslaught. So, in other words, the battle order would flop the IDs around, meaning the older IDs would fight first in the hit, and the newer IDs would fight later, meaning obviously, like, new ID or the older IDs at that point would be the meat for the onslaught, and the older IDs, or I mean the newer IDs, would basically be the ones hitting and killing after the meat in the OS died. It would be similar to, in that regard, it would be similar to a T7, T8 OS. The T8s are going to get most of the shards. The T7 are going to take the hit and die. except in this, they're all the same troop tier. So when it's all the same troop type and troop tier, the battle mechanic moves the older IDs to the front, meaning the older IDs will fight first, and the newer IDs will basically pull the shards and get more kills after your troops die. Oh, man. I blame YouTube's translation process for all that. Yeah, exactly. Basically, the older IDs, you're the meat. If you're a long-time player and have an older account that you have focused on and you're in a clan, like basically if you all join with the same tier, same type, you are going to be the meat. I mean, like, a lot of us have played our accounts for a lot of years. Now, like, I don't know if this is like, but yet, I don't know if this is just like the way the battle mechanic puts it in order. It could be a specific mechanic function. But it seems like that the way an onslaught function works is push the that's the end of it. Push the older IDs to the front for the meat, and then the newer IDs are basically able to kill, which of course I mean results in more shards, less death, etc., etc., etc. down the line of the hit of the onslaught. So, like, I don't know if we will see this change. I mean, this quite literally could just be the way the battle mechanic is set up. But essentially, as stated, the older IDs are the meat for the newer IDs. Now, I find it kind of ironic. One brief moment. Hold that thought. You guys can today check out the links that the bot is posting. They, of course, go to a varied variety of places. Quick me commercial here. The links, of course, are also in the About section on YouTube. The links do donation tips here. The Berserkr Bones Lodge there, which is the merch shop. These are customizable, FYI. The merch shop. The membership page. For paid memberships to the channel, which also gives access to the paid membership chat on Discord, as well as other perks. And then there's a link, of course, to the GoFundMe that the bot will drop periodically throughout the chat as I stream. Anyways, okay. So it's kind of ironic that the older accounts basically sorted by the battle mechanic. The older accounts are the meat for the newer accounts. Now, I don't know if that was originally to, like, say, a bunch of newer players join a clan with a bunch of older players, and they all want to use the same, like, they're all on T8, but the newer players aren't necessarily as strong as the older players. Basically, that would mean the onslaught would filter the newer players to the back. Like, that the newer players would be filtered or sorted to the back of the onslaught behind the older players. Meaning roughly, you know, the older players would be the meat for the newer players. I don't know if that's why that mechanic is that way. I don't know if it was an intended mechanic. I also don't know if this is like a patched mechanic. In other words, like when things started being added in, it got patched over on older accounts that just kind of filters them to the front of a hit in an onslaught. I do know that there are some odd, weird, quirky onslaught differences. I will kind of tell you about that here momentarily. I'm going to take a brief break, get a little bit more coffee to drink, and I will come back and discuss with you guys what Amber and I figured out in Jotunheim with onslaughts, what we observed. So I will be back shortly. Okay. Back. Apologies. Oh, man. All right. So, hello. So, in the onslaughts in Jotunheim, there was a significant difference between like Amber's shards earned and mine. Now, like, I can't really say anything about as far as like the power in the onslaughts, because I mean the power breakdown in our clan is quite significant. There is a big power gap just in our clan alone. Everything from players with max achievements to mostly almost all max town skins, to town skins such as Cosmos, to Ruler, to King's gear, maxed Asgard gear, and other stuff. So I'm going to break down my account. I can pretty much essentially break down Amber's account too. One of the nice things about my wife and I playing together is we essentially can break down each other's accounts at a glance. I'm fairly certain, Pachelka, I'm fairly certain you could do the same for you and Comedians. Anyways, so, like, 1 second. Here we go. All right, so my account. Start with, like, gear. My town gear is essentially almost all maxed, but 1 amulet at 14. A lot of offense runes. Even as far as, like, I'm not entirely certain what Amber's building breakdown is. Like, my buildings, of course, almost all lumber mills. I push the total offense fairly high. And then my hero gear is all 15. And, of course, in an onslaught using Heir of the Empire. I'll just do this. Be an easier breakdown. Stats-wise, and I'll use bows for the example because that's just the best example I can give. So, my stats for T8 bows, because it's my main troop type, also breaks down to, like, you know, I mean, all of, quite literally, everything in my account boosts my bows, either archers or spies. Now, Amber is cavalry. She's primarily, all of her stuff focuses on cavalry. She does not have maxed archer gear. She does not have maxed Asgard gear yet. Her gear is still, I believe, 13s and 14s, so lower than mine. She doesn't have maxed range runes. Our achievements are similar, yet there's some differences in there. Like, I mean, for the most part, the differences that you'd see between the two of us, achievements-wise, would be the new ones. Right here, where mine's are 2s and 3s, hers are 1s. So now, like, also town skins, there's a significant number of town skins that I have, like, 1 level higher. And I'm not talking about these right here that can go up because, you know, just keep that aside. Like, in here, I have town skins that are 1 or 2 higher than she does. Now, all of that being said, doing a ranged onslaught in Jotunheim, neither one of us hosting, both of us joining the exact same onslaught with troops anywhere from like 2 to 5 mil difference. Now, like, this is like, you know, not an exact test, but 2 to 5 million difference in hike size, to where, like, I'm sending, say, 132 and she's sending 137. Significant difference, and our accounts were created at almost the same time. Our accounts are almost the same age. Give me 1 moment. Give me a brief second. Have to ask her a question of something I don't have. Like, so our accounts were created at almost the same time. In an onslaught, a ranged onslaught, so we're all joining with bows. And she's in cavalry gear. She was getting, on average, sometimes 5 to 10 to 20 million more shards than I was getting in some hits. So, wrong troop gear for the type sent. Wrong repute, because she had a cavalry repute. She didn't have a bow's repute. I had a bow's repute. So wrong repute, wrong gear, wrong shaman, not maxed gear. And I'm saying wrong for like, I'm saying wrong for how the OS is. Not wrong in general. Wrong for how the onslaught is. She's getting 5 to 10 to 20 million more shards than I am. Now, the other thing is here's the catch. Here's the ironic thing. My ID. Okay? I will type this out. I had to ask her game ID if you guys are wondering why I asked. Here's the big difference. Here's a big mind blower. Are you ready for this? Bam. There's the ID difference. So, like, if you look at, again, the players, like, the way the onslaught mechanic that Syntizitor showed us works, like, Amber, even in the wrong gear, wrong repute, and not like, let me see, wrong repute, wrong gear, I don't know if her T8 bows are maxed at her Valkyrie, but like various skin differences and other stuff, like the huge difference was she was getting 5 to 10 to 20 million more shards than me, if not more. And I was consistently losing more troops. And that's with us being in the same onslaught. So, like, normally, like she said in the chat, normally, the shards break almost even for us. Like, we can literally sit on the couch next to each other, and when the OS hits, we're both looking at our different phone screens, and I'm like 8 million, and she's like 7.5. Or I'm like 7.5, and she's like, I'm like 7.5, and she's like, 10.2. So, there's a significant difference here. Like, something shifted. Something changed somewhere. Because, like I said, normally, we could quite literally count the shards that, the shards that like significantly come in. So like, I mean, it's just weird. Like, we're very, very, like, very familiar with how our accounts act. Also, like, I mean, we've played together for so long at this point that we know generally if we're hitting something, hitting T4, whatever tier we're hitting, we can almost guarantee how the kill breakdown between our two counts alone are going to go, even in an onslaught with other people. Like, I mean, this is years of us playing side by side in this game. So, like, significantly more, and I mean, like, she's getting double to sometimes triple the shards that I'm getting in an onslaught. I mean, I'm not complaining that my wife is getting shards, but there's a significant difference. And like I said, the IDs, like, if you look at Syntizitor's video, the IDs make a significant difference, again, in the amount of shards that people are getting with older accounts and newer accounts. Now, like, we've broken it down to where, like, it's shown the older accounts in the order of battle mechanic in an OS. The older the ID is, the more the game tends to use them as meat, I should say, meat in the OS. It moves them to the front. They're the first to fight, of course, the first to die, etc., etc., etc. Even in Syntizitor's video, he talks about it even being in a successful onslaught. So when you burn the town, the older IDs will still fight first. Meaning, like, if you pop through 1.2 billion T8 with your onslaught of 2 billion, the older accounts are still going to fight first. So they're going to lose troops. The ones right behind them are going to get the shards, and then the ones at the end of the OS are going to get the resources or shards that are left after the bulk of it hit. So, like, it really shows, like, there was something somewhere in a mechanic order that moved the older IDs to the forefront of an onslaught and moved the newer IDs towards the back. I am fairly certain, like, I am almost 100% positive this test could be replicated anywhere by any clan. I am almost positive that, like, any of us could go into the game, call an onslaught with our clans, all send the same troop type, the same troop tier, the same amount, hit a town, and break it down by, like, literally the same as he did. Break it down by order sent, ID number, etc., etc., etc. And then further break it down by power and other stuff. So, like, I don't know really how much, like, town skins and stuff at this point will affect an onslaught if you're joining with clan members, considering in Syntizitor's video, he shows a significant difference in the power aspect of the players as well. Like I said with, like, Amber and I, our town skins are fairly close. I have a few more that are up here and down there, but the fact that, like, the town skins I have maxed for bows, Amber doesn't even have. Like, she doesn't have ranged town skins maxed. She focuses on cavalry, just like I don't have cavalry maxed. So, joining an OS with the same troop type, and she's getting significantly more shards, more kills, or more kills, dying less than I am, where my troops are significantly stronger in the aspect of the troop type itself, and literally the breakdown of the only other thing that we can think of is IDs at that point. If the mechanic sends the newer ID or the older IDs to the front of the onslaught in the battle order and the older IDs to the end, that is quite literally the only explanation for how our troops would react if we send the exact same troop. I mean, like 3 to 5 times more shards, which means she's killing 3 to 5 times more troops than I'm killing in the order of battle, while my troops are acting as the meat. Now, like, that might make a significant difference also in our clan, considering that, like, and I'm not saying that power does not factor into this either, because, I mean, it very well might. The fact that, like, some of our clanmates can get anywhere from 20 to 30 to 20 to 30 to maybe 40 million shards in an onslaught where we're all sending the same type, and some of us are quite literally dying and getting like a quarter of that. If those accounts have a newer ID, this would explain the battle order on necessarily how that happens. So I'm not entirely certain what to think about this. Like I said, I'm gonna reach out to Syntizitor and see if I can't get like one second. Do you think Polarium's ID with the newer ID numbers getting more shards was to help newer players with newer IDs develop or catch up faster? It could have been. No. It very well could have been. Like, hello! The fact that, like, Syntizitor's test shows that the... Blam. 1 second. Syntizitor's test shows that the newer IDs quite literally get moved to the back of the battle order. 1 second. Man. Whoop. Boom. The fact that Syntizitor's video and test shows that the newer IDs get moved to the back of the battle order, and that the older IDs get moved to the front, meaning they are quite literally the meat, could be a way that Polarium designed this, the mechanic to catch up newer players with older players. So basically, like, you know, newer players can join or mentor under older players and essentially get more shards that way in order to catch up on things like a seer, knowledge, etc., etc., etc. But the key word is but. The thing is like, once those newer players are caught up, it still skews the order of things. I mean, that would mean having an older account and playing with newer players that started playing even 2 years after you, that you either need to, like, old school OS it and be like, okay, everybody's accounts, like, we're all on the same page. Everybody's game account that was created 3 years or older join this onslaught. Everybody's game ID or game where you created your account within the last 3 years join this onslaught. Like, you'd have to break it down in order to further, like, split evenly across your clan and participants. Like, there would figuratively need to be a cutoff. Otherwise, I mean, like, joining onslaughts is going to be kind of pointless as an older player if you've got a bunch of newer players in your clan. And, like, you just naturally stay the meat. Someone will always, yes, exactly. In every battle, there will always be somebody that is the quote-unquote meat. There's no way around that. But the significant difference of the amount of shards that people have shown to be earned, like, and like I said, even if you break it down for, like, Amber's and mine, like, bam, there, I pinned it. Even, like, the difference of breaking down between, like, Amber's ID and my ID. If you look at the pinned message, copy, unpin, there we go. I just want to be able to find it. Like, literally, we have played together for the last, like, 4 or 5, I don't know. We've played together for a long time. But, like, these two IDs right here, and she's making 3 to 5 times more shards than I am using the wrong gear, wrong repute, and having gear like 3 or 4 levels, or 2 to 3 levels lower than mine, with some achievements 2 to 3 levels lower than mine, that would influence the battle. I mean, like, if we're hitting T4, T3, and I'm like these, offense against T3, offense against T2, T1's whatever. But, like, if we're hitting with T3 and I have a 10% bonus, and she has a 2% bonus, but yet significantly 3 to 5 times more shards, while my troops are dying as the meat in the onslaught, her troops are getting the points, the shards, the kills, and other stuff. Like, that's a significant difference. That means I essentially would have to work harder at scoring solo battles with a positive shard outcome to equal the shards that I would be getting in an onslaught the same as her. Like, I would have to scout 10 times more. I would have to solo attack 10 times more in order to equal the shard value. And of course, like, scouting and solo attacking. Hello! Scouting and solo attacking, like, shows also that, like, I mean, I would just use more troops. I smell smoke. Man, Polarium's algorithm's based off of looks. That's why she gets more you know, if that's how it is, I am perfectly okay with that. I know my wife is gorgeous and amazing. So, what is up, Moxie? Quick shout out, Burn Moxie Yellow. Burn Moxie and Yellow, the paid top tier membership in my channel. Shout out to you guys on the live stream. So, like, I mean, Syntizitor's video shows that the older IDs are becoming the meat in an onslaught. Now, like, Amber and me, like, our IDs show very similar to the same thing. She is absolutely amazing. So, like, Amber's and my IDs show basically the same thing. This could be a mechanic that Polarium intended for newer players to catch up on the older players. But here's the thing. And I'm using this as an example, I'm not saying this is why. Let me preface that. If, for instance, and I have no idea when Elo created this account, but for instance, if my ID, my game ID, is newer than Elo's, but yet Elo has maxed ruler, maxed cosmos, maxed king's gear, and his troops are the meat for my troops, he loses troops while mine earn shards, kills, etc. I get more points than somebody that is quite literally worked through maxing cosmos and ruler and maxing all of his gear. Like, how is that even or fair? Like, how does that shake out in things? Like, if I can join an onslaught with the wrong gear, the wrong repute, having significantly less achievements, town skins, and other stuff than a player that has put in all this work to these town skins, all because it is skewed to base on ID numbers alone. How does that really work out? Like, in the long run, how does that skew out? I mean, like, so I'm not going to get into the mechanics of our clan. But we have dedicated onslaught setters, dedicated storm setters. We all send the same troop type to those storms. We storm together as a clan. Because, I mean, 2 billion troop onslaught. Now, like, if the newer IDs are essentially moved to the back of that onslaught, the older IDs are essentially fighting in the beginning or the front of that onslaught. The older IDs are the meat. How does it really also work out if, like, say, my account, for instance, was created before, like, say, Elo's account, to where it would move an account troops that are significantly stronger based on the bonuses they have of the gear, the town skins, the achievements. I can literally go down the list. How would it really work out if, like, my account is the meat that's supposed to save Elo's troops? Like, so, I mean, like, it would go both ways, that if the mechanic is precedented on ID numbers, that, like, literally it would make it a push to have a maxed older account as far as, like, as many bonuses as you can have in order to get the same amount of participation, shards, or other stuff as the newer accounts. Figuratively, yes, if your oldest and hopefully strongest players are the meat, the clan would figuratively lose less troops on a successful storm than on a failed storm. Figuratively. And again, like, successful being the key word. Maybe, I mean, like figuratively, if you're trying to, like, if you're hitting a T4 wall, for instance, and you're trying to break that wall, you would want the stronger players or the players with more power necessarily as far as like more bonuses against the troop type, more bonuses against the tier, more total offense, more offense in an onslaught, offense during an attack, etc., would figuratively break through the wall faster than the people that would like might be weaker hitting that wall first. The people that are weaker hitting that wall first is just going to give the wall, the individual defending, more points, versus the stronger is going to take a bigger chunk out of the wall. But again, like, it just depends. If the mechanic changes, if the order changes versus successful or non-successful attack, it just all kind of depends. If the order stays the exact same, as far as the older IDs become the meat for the newer IDs, if that order stays rigid through every single onslaught, failed or successful, then, I mean, like, at least it shows, like, I guess, like, a steady, solid mechanic. I agree. The ID doesn't represent the need for catch-up. The ID, quite literally, is the fixed number that goes with the account when the account is made. But, like, I mean, again, if, and I'm using this for an example, if, like, Elo has an ID that is newer than mine, that would make my troops the meat for Elo's troops. And I'm using him as an example because I know, like, he is significantly stronger than I am. Like, that would mean my troops are going to constantly, always, in every battle or every onslaught I join with the same troop type as Elo, that would mean if my ID is older than his, my troops are always, regardless, always going to be the meat for his troops. Regardless to what I do. Regardless to if I got Cosmos and maxed it, if I got King's Gear and maxed it, if I got whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter at that point how much I spend or dump into my account to catch up in similar strength. I would always continue to be the meat for his troops. If, again, it breaks down like Syntisator showed us in his tests by ID. But that means I'm going to use significantly more troops than people with newer IDs. So there's that. I mean, like, it wouldn't benefit any of us, like, it also means it wouldn't benefit any of us older players. It wouldn't benefit any of us older players to jump to a newer kingdom. Like, if I... Not saying I'm going to. That means if I went all the way down here... to K956... and I joined some random clan... I'll use you because I'm looking at your onslaught, or on at your OS, or your tower. So I joined some random clan. It doesn't matter how strong their accounts are. I would quite literally always be the meat for them. Every single onslaught we did together with the same troop type, I would be the meat. If their accounts were created here, mind you. If they're not old accounts that flew here. So, like, I mean, it's just kind of one of those weird, odd mechanics. If, I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it. It's just, it's weird. It's just so odd. I don't know if it was an intended way for I don't know if it was an intended way. I'm trying to find the word. Intended catch-up mechanic. I don't know if something along the lines of a patch between the IDs somewhere change things. Or like if so, I mean, like, for instance, how many updates do you think are between those two IDs? Just out of curiosity. Like, give a wild guess. How many updates do you think are between those two IDs? Like, I would say 3, maybe 4. I mean, I don't know exactly how, like, many players joined between a certain time and a certain time. But let me see. Let me see. If, for instance, say the Palace level 50 update came out in a week from now, and I go to Palace level 50. Say I jump to K 957. And join this clan right here. And they go to Palace level 50. And they go to Palace level 50. And they have a newer account. It doesn't matter if they're stronger than me or not. My account would still be the meat for that account. Sending same troop type in an OS. Like, it's a huge gap in the capabilities of players. Exactly. It's a group of friends winning money, and the way to distribute is determined by date of birth. Except reverse. Reverse date of birth. Oldest getting what is left after the youngest takes first. Like, the distribution of shards alone, I mean, because, like, I mean, shards fund so much in the game. Like, it should, keyword here, go by the strength of the account, not by, if you're all joining with the same troop type, it should not go necessarily by the oldest ID fights first. Like, I don't know. I don't, oh man. Just gracious. I don't really know, like, what to think about it. There's just a significant amount more of, like, things that could go into this, and it could have so many more applications. It could have so many more applications by, like, just like onslaughts. Like, see, I mean, clear violation of terms of service and fair play agreement. I don't know. Like, I haven't read a lot of the terms of service or fair play agreement. But I do know that, like, in order for clans to all play very similar and play the same. I mean, like, it was always originally put out there that we all sent the same troop type to basically share the pain and misery and share the rewards. But then we find out using all the same troop type, sharing the rewards and sharing the misery isn't necessarily what we're doing. Like, so like, I mean, I'm not sure. There's other implications here that could all make things slightly different and off. But I will be right back. Quick bathroom break for me, and gotta reheat the coffee. So brief break. I will be back here shortly. Okay. All right, back. Oh, 1 second. Oh, kitten. Eat the kitten. Hey, Lou. The little Batman. Lou. Look. Say hi. Did you say hi? No? Okay. There you go. Ugh. Yes. Okay. So, man. All right. Anyways. So, like, that was, like, the OS thing, that Synthesizer really did. Like, there's a significant difference in some things. Hi, Batman. Batman. There's significant difference in, like, some of the stuff that we've seen than what we thought battle mechanics were before. That could be the big, huge, one of the huge things in battle mechanics. This could be a mechanic that makes things significantly different across every battle. Like, I mean, obviously a solo attack, would vary, but what about if this mechanic were to influence a stronghold def? Or I should say a stronghold defense. Like, what if, like, Amber and I were both defending the Odin Tower, and this literal same mechanic affected that? Same troop type, same amount sent, and this affected that outcome. Like, it's kind of mind-blowing that we're seeing this now as far as the difference in points and other stuff. I mean, we've known for a while that there was some variation to shards, kills, etc., in onslaughts. And this would explain quite a bit of it, but it doesn't explain why this mechanic still, you'd think, but it doesn't explain why this mechanic still makes such a huge difference with, like, wrong gear. I mean, like, where, like I said, Synthesizer, in one of his onslaughts that they did, Synthesizer sent, there we go. All right. Synthesizer sent his troops with Inga and still got consistently more shards and died less than, like, the other individuals in his clan. Maybe clans need to recruit players with new game IDs for attacking Asgard towers and throwing... I'm not a valid target, by the way. Anyways, like, it's mind-blowing that, like, even something like a shaman doesn't influence the order of this anymore. Like I said, Synthesizer joined an onslaught with Inga and still didn't lose as many troops and got more shards than the older IDs in the game that had the right shaman, right troop gear, etc., etc. Like, he used Inga and showed how skewed it is with the game ID, swapping the order of the OS. Like, I mean, figuratively, like, none of us would ever do that in a battle. I mean, but if you have a newer ID and you accidentally send the wrong shaman, I guess you're you're fine. Oh man, I don't know really like what else to say about that. Is mind-blowing. I'm gonna try, like I said, I'm gonna try to get the charts from Synthesizer and make a breakdown video about this. Let me see if he's around today. Give me a second. I have to find Sin. There we go. All right. I don't know if like he's around currently, but we shall see. If Sin's around, we'll see if he pops in. There we go. All right. Oh. Whew. Goodness. I don't know what else to say about this. Like, I just have no clue if fart is a command for the bots, by the way. I don't know if like I just don't know. The implications of a test like this and the breakdown of the results are kind of like staggering. I don't think Synthesizer, he might be around today. Anyways, I don't know like necessarily what the oh goodness, don't do that. I don't know really like what else could change here. It's crazy that, like I said, he sent in an onslaught the his troops with Inga and still got more. Like still significantly his troops performed better. Still performed better than like one second. Hello! Synthesizer! So, hello! We've been discussing your test, buddy, my friend. Your video. blow this up. Again, I will drop another link to this in the chat. Bam! That's the chart. So here's again. There's the link to the video that we've been discussing. I'll just pin it. Yes, understandable. So you sent, obviously you sent all the same troop types, and you did it multiple times. I don't know. I mean, like, how many? You obviously did a number of onslaughts that you could, like, control, or not necessarily control, but that you knew pretty much, like, roughly what the outcome was going to be. And significantly, like, even you sending Inga, like, significantly, Michelle lost more troops, less shards, as the first person essentially in the onslaught. If it's sorted by ID, they became the meat of the onslaught versus like the last one or the newest game ID, right? Like the way it broke down is like the oldest ID basically was like the first to hit or defended the rest of the onslaught, and then the rest got the rewards basically. It is, absolutely. It is 100%. 1 second. So, what exactly, like, what exactly was like the main difference? What was the main difference in like the outcome? Was it the newer accounts, like the newer accounts in general, died less and killed more? Or, okay, so it's the same players die first in the onslaught every time. So power will factor into it, right? But also like the age of the account. Well, like, I mean, so was there a difference in the failed onslaughts or storms versus the successful? Like, did the same players still die? Okay, so if even in a successful onslaught, right, or successful OS, the oldest players will still die first. Kind of. I mean, like, if your troops survive, that means they can kill something. So I would assume that, like, I mean, obviously, the strength would then factor into it. Like, the stronger your troops are, the longer they last. But So basically, the older ID is always going to die first, meaning they have to be stronger, right? One second. Blow this up to numbers. So, if like what I'm understanding here, okay, so no matter what onslaught you do with these same 10 players, Michelle is always going to die first. Always. Because their ID is older. Now, like, that's going to translate into, of course, the rest of you obviously dying less and getting more shards or more points in the essentially in every onslaught like the 10 of you would do together. So power didn't even factor into that, right? Like there was no power difference. Okay, so the first but okay, so the order is the OS host first, older ID second, and then it goes down from that. Yes. Essentially, yes, Moxie. Yes. Every time. If you have the oldest ID in the game, like in the OS, yes, it doesn't matter. Like, so if, okay, so if, for example, I'll use Elo again. Elo hosts an onslaught. Moxie, you join and I join. Your ID is older than I am. That means Elo dies first as the host. You would die second as the second oldest. I would go third. Obviously, in a 3-person OS, that would be the order. It doesn't matter with King's Gear, etc., so much more stronger than me. So, power didn't factor into the order at all, Synthesizer? Ooh. Would probably depend on what you're hitting. So, how does power factor into it? So power factors into like more successful versus failed, or what? So you get the shards for 20%. Okay. So that's where the power factors in then? So that's where sending more and the strength would predict the outcome more on a successful, right? So let me type this out. There we go. If you don't burn, okay. So if you don't, it's pretty much going to go on and okay. But all sending the same troop type. March size. If scouting you hit 1 mil shard, second 1.13. Okay. All right. So basically, yes. So like basically that is why that is why like the older IDs or the newer IDs get more shards because there's less troops than when it originally hit. So like so the older will always hit first, and then the since there are less troops, the ones that hit after that will get more shards because of whatever the oldest ID killed, right? Trying to process this through. Okay. But does power affect that at all? Does power affect it at all? Like strength of account, for instance. Like, but does power affect after the ID affects it though? So what I'm saying is like example. If I join with 200 million T8, Elo joins with 200 million T8. And I have a newer ID to him. Okay, so basically the newer ID is still going to come out on top than the older ID. Like the newer ID is still going to be pushed back. That was pretty much like what I was wondering. Oh man. How did you figure this out? Town OS. Town Onslaught. In a Town Onslaught. I don't know if I know our Synthesizer, did you test on like a Fortress 2? Like did you test on the throne? Out of curiosity? Like was it tested on a throne or like a Raven Tower or any of that at all either? Like onslaught wise, not on a town? Okay. So I mean it was pretty much right. Instead of like, so basically the main difference is when all join with the same troop type for a town OS, because you wouldn't train or you would not switch troop type necessarily for a Fortress Onslaught. So okay, that makes more sense. If you join first, you die first, versus the onslaught mechanic, where it's the onslaught mechanic. But if you onslaughted a fortress, would it do the same if you all sent the same troop type? Yeah, I mean, like, oh man, oh goodness gracious, man, holy crap. I mean, it makes sense why, like, there's a significant difference in OS power, like, or I should say in the way that onslaughts are. So I don't know if, like, I don't know. It's kind of mind-blowing, to be honest. It's just really odd. I could, like, I'll ask somebody to test it. I'm not testing it. Oh man. Oh goodness. Can you can you send me these charts when you have time? When you have a moment? I will absolutely, hands down, like, break this down in a video and give you credit, of course, for figuring it out, and your clan credit. Yes, absolutely. That's gonna have to be one of the major things, like seeing IDs like the town. So OS setters are, it's weird. OS setters have always gotten a very bad return just purely because they share their stats with everybody else. I'm not entirely certain why. Again, like the mechanic would show, like Synthesizer said, if in an OS, so the order to die is what I'm going to start calling this. Yes. One second. Off oops. There we go. I think that's right. Order to die. OS setter always dies first, then the second oldest ID, and then dies in order of IDs from oldest to newest. Shard count is based off of 20% of your troops that you have left. I think that is how that So yes, Raven Towers, it is confirmed Raven Towers will be made fortresses instead of the unique location that they are now. Also, I mean, Palace level 50 and T9 are coming soonish. So is VIP 100. Like, oh man. I don't know. Would mean you're either one of the newest in the OS or I think one of the strongest. It means you might have more troops that survived versus others, because Synthesizer said power factors into it. So if you're sending more troops, that would mean you have more troops left over after fighting, which means you'd have more return with shards. I believe, if I'm following the mechanic correctly. Oh man. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't think I'm entirely off about that mechanic, but oh. Okay, so if in an OS die, only 2 players die, the rest will get the shards. Oh, man. Oh, that's like, that's just, oh. So, depends all entirely also, I'm sure, depends on the power of what you're hitting too. Exactly. Oh, man. Oh, goodness. Lord. Oh. Synthesizer, can you send me those charts? Like, I want to break this down for a video, aside from just the live stream. I'd like to break it down to a video to get more word out, and of course, give you props for figuring this out. Man, this is crazy. Oh. I don't know. I mean, the proof kind of shows it is. There's some weird funky stuff. Like just odd stuff. Just really odd. So I don't know. I mean, but that would also, like, again, like in your town onslaughts, like if you're not sending the same troop type or the same tier, it would skew or change the results as well. Like it wouldn't hold true to the same results. It could be. It could be an odd, weird, like, coding happenstance. So I don't know. It's interesting that, like, it's interesting the way it breaks down, though. Oh, Synthesizer, thank you for jumping on the stream and explaining this. I greatly appreciate it. All right. Real quick, as far as promotional whatnot, check out the links that have been dropped in the chat. Boom. They go to such things as... Oh, man, I messed everything up. Whoop. Whoop. They go to such things as... Yeah, it'll be interesting. For sure. Can you send me these charts? I'll break it down for a video and then like figure some other stuff out. check out the links on YouTube. In the About section, they go to a tipping page. Of course, all support. I make no money on YouTube, so pretty much goes to keeping the streams going and funding everything on the account. The GoFundMe account goes to, of course, paying streaming equipment, computers, and paying the computer off and other stuff. Blam. Goes to this right here. And then, of course, the merch shop. All the merch gear can be customized if you guys want to add your names to it or whatever else. You can change the color of said shirts, such as blam, etc., etc., etc. Memberships are on Patreon. Paid members get access to the paid members channel in Proxy Discord, and then get other perks. That was a thank you, Citizener. You as well. That's pretty much all I had for today. I will be making a video that kind of compresses this information down and further goes into depth. But as much as I can anyway. It's kind of hard to test in our clan, but I'll figure something out. Anyways, that's pretty much all I had for today. If you guys want to do a battle royale, type in the chat and I will start one as soon as the stream ends. I will be live on Sunday. And then I'm going to try to get mechanics approved for a giveaway for Christmas and the holidays. Anyways, thank you guys for kicking it today. If you are watching this later and you have not already, hit the like and the subscribe button. I will see you guys on Sunday as well as around in the community and on the next video. I'll give 30 seconds at the end of this and then start the battle royale for the people that want to participate. Anyways, thanks for being here, and I will see you guys later.